Why would the Egyptians invest the time, tools and skills needed to create this object if it didn't serve a specific purpose? The current label of incense container given to the Schist Disc in the Egyptian Museum is clearly risible. Clearly it's not designed as a container of anything. Since its discovery in 1936, nearly a century of conjecture has naturally concluded that it is proof of alien visitation, or there was a technically advanced civilization in Egypt in the past. Good day. Today, episode 13, we have a really interesting artifact to look at, which raises many questions. We have a photo of this artifact to show you. There's long been in display in a Cairo museum, and it's described as an incense container, although quite how any liquid could be contained in it is not obvious. This is it. It's called the Schist Disc. I'm unaware if it's been recently relocated to the new museum in Cairo, but according to Google, it remains on display at the Egyptian Museum. The Schist Disc was found by the British Egyptologist Brian Emery in 1936 when excavating the tomb of Prince Sabu, who died very close to 3000 BC. It was found amongst typical funerary objects: knives, arrows, copper tools. Emery listed the item as a container in the form of a schist bowl. Objectively, I think you might find it difficult to see this as a bowl. You may agree it looks more like a steering wheel. It's about the right size for the steering wheel of a bus or a truck. It's 61 centimeters diameter, 24 inches. The Schist Disc is perfectly circular with a diameter of 61 centimeters. It's a thicker outer rim and a thin solid interior is less than 1 centimeter thick, the internal part. And it looks as though 3 curved sections have been carved out and bent back to provide maybe handholds. The centre of the disc has a collar that would appear to function as a receptacle for the axis of a wheel, or perhaps it's a central hub designed to fit on a drive shaft. Most people's first impression of this is that it must be an engineered machine part. So far, it is unique and seems completely out of place in an Egyptian tomb. Yet this tomb was discovered undisturbed. This was sealed up in this guy's tomb 5,000 years ago. On its own, the disc would not appear to serve any purpose, neither functional nor ceremonial. Its utility must have been as part of a machine. What material would you expect this to be made of? Maybe stainless steel or aluminium? Trouble is, we only invented stainless steel in the 1740s, and we first made aluminium in 1825. At this date, this artifact was placed amongst the funereal goods. The only metals in use were bronze, copper, silver and gold. Even iron only started to be used in the Middle East around 1200 BC. This is nearly 2000 years before that. In fact, as its name implies, the disc is made of stone. It's a truly extraordinary artifact that's been made out of a single piece of stone. The skill and workmanship to carve these thin surfaces out of stone and cut the exact set of matching curves is utterly extraordinary. The 3 curved surfaces must surely have been cut from the thin slab and bent backwards somehow, which seems extraordinarily difficult. The article is named after the material of which it is made, schist. Schist is relatively easily split along the lateral grain but is very brittle, derived from clay and mud, transformed by heat and pressure into shale, and then into phyllite. Most schists are made of mica, graphite, and chlorite, formed from the weathering of igneous rocks. These types of rocks do become ductile between around 600 centigrade and 900 centigrade, but very easily crack apart. Technically, the Egyptians had furnaces that reached these temperatures to fashion copper alloys like bronze. But using this heat to carefully deform this thin piece of brittle stone would require incredible skill. Even if you heated this material to that temperature, the tools you had to grasp and try to bend these flanges in the rock would themselves start to be deformed at this temperature, and would also leave telltale marks on the surface of what's been bent back. The logic suggests that this amazingly carved artifact was a replication of an older metallic object. Furthermore, the material of the object itself rules out it being made of crude bronze or copper tools. Cutting this shape out of brittle stone such as schist is itself an incredible achievement, but clearly far too brittle and delicate to have been intended for use as part of a machine. With mechanical equipment, the disc will be easy to produce and replicate in something like steel. Also, perhaps more importantly, why would the Egyptians invest the time, tools, and skills needed to create this object if it didn't serve a specific purpose? The current label of incense container given to the Schist Disc in the Egyptian Museum is clearly risible. Clearly, it's not designed as a container of anything. Since its discovery in 1936, nearly a century of conjecture has naturally concluded that it is proof of alien visitation, or there was a technically advanced civilization in Egypt in the past. My speculative view is that this disc was modelled on a machined part that formed a component of a legacy device that had ceased to operate. But the young prince was so enamoured of it that a doting father requested a copy be made. I'd appreciate your comments and ideas, along with your like, and hopefully you're a subscriber by now. Thank you very much.